There is euphoria all around. Markets are on a high. But have the things actually changed on the ground as well? To get a view, we are now joined by Mr. Bazmi Hussain, MD at ABB India. Thank you so much, Mr. Hussain, for speaking to us here on NDTV. You know, markets are on a high. Foreign institutional investors, foreign investors, they all have India back on their attention list. At least that's the sense we are getting from the investors here at the World Economic Forum as well. What's your sense when it comes to the domestic economy, when it comes to the corporate sector within the country? Have things actually changed on the ground?
Well, I can only talk about the electrical energy sector. You know, ABB's business is around electrical energy. Half our business deals with the production and the transportation part of electricity, and the other half of the business deals with the consumption of electricity. So in that area, if you look at it, you know, India already operates the largest synchronized grid in the world. Okay, we've got now a capacity in excess of 250 gigawatt of generation, and more on the way. So clearly, you know, it is a large player, and yet our, you know, electricity consumption on a per capita basis is about a third of the world average. Okay, so it is big. And what the size that it needs is huge. Okay, so it is obvious that this is a sector that everybody is betting on, and there's, you know, if I could put it that way, any progress in that can be delayed but not denied. Okay. Having said that, as you say, the euphoria is there. You know, I mean. But we are yet to see actual decisions being taken by, you know, the new projects or the projects that were held up, release of those projects. But it is on the way. Timing remains, you know, hard to predict at this time.
You said activity on the ground is yet to pick up. Can you tell us what are the key challenges in your sector in particular that you're facing at this point in time, which require immediate attention and something that the government should now start looking at?
Well, first of all, I think there's this even project that are more or less ready. There are fuel linkages. I think that's an issue, and you hear about that from the government very often. So they are taking the step towards that. Fuel linkages is one of them. The second aspect, I think, that is very relevant is the land acquisition part of it. You know, and the third thing is the delays that have happened in the projects have, you know, increased the cost for everyone. How to address that is also something that will need to be factored in. There are, of course, many other aspects, but these three things, I think, are absolutely essential, you know, and they need to be addressed.
So three key issues that you spoke about. From the corporate side, what could be the possible solutions? What steps could now the government take to solve these particular challenges which the sector is facing at this point in time?
Well, you know, I think there are a lot of actions that are already underway and all in the right direction. As I said, the real issue is from the time the actions are taken to the time that you really begin to see thawing out of all the projects, I think that is really where we are. So I think the problems are well understood. They are not simple problems for sure, but it is also true that people understand what the problems are, and steps are being taken. It's just the timing of that remains uncertain at this time.
So can we say things have now started turning around, the kind of steps the government is taking, you know, the way government has at least started addressing the initial things which need attention when it comes to the coal sector reforms, reforms in the labor sector have been announced, fuel sector reforms, some big bang reforms came through. Do you think the initial steps that are being taken at this point in time, they are good enough, or the government really needs to hurry up till we remain into this repair mode that we are in right now?
Well, as I said, the steps that are being taken are in the right direction. Then we're looking at the intensity and the speed. Okay, that is where I think there is scope for actually further acceleration. And when that begins to happen, we will see a better situation in the market.
Considering what's happening today, the way things are moving, the speed at which things are moving today, a lot of announcements, but things yet to pick up on the ground. How soon do you see some kind of a momentum picking up on the ground? How soon do you think that these will translate into actual orders for a company like yours?
I wish I knew.
But any sense that maybe, if it goes on in this direction, if it goes on in this particular way, the intent that the government is now showing, this might start showing signs, say 6 months from now, you might see things changing from FY15. Do you have any hope of that sort?
Again, this is, I wish, this is like a bit like a crystal ball thing, But I would say that you're still looking at maybe a few quarters before you're going to see significant movement on the ground.
A few quarters for ABB. Let's talk about the company now in particular. Q3 numbers slightly on a positive side, but when it comes to your order book in particular, not that strong. What do you have to say about that?
If you look at orders year to date, we are up 7%. So it's not that it's not strong. It is growing. For the quarter, however, the orders compared to the quarter the year before, we are down. And that is primarily due to some of the projects that, we couldn't get the paperwork done in time, so we expect that we will catch up to it. But order book is clearly, I think, getting more orders is clearly the reflection on what is happening in the market, that we have the customers which are hesitating to actually take the final plunge.
They are hesitating at this point. And where does the current order book stand, and how is the pipeline looking like? Because you're expecting things to improve in the next couple of quarters?
Well, let me put it like this. As and when the decisions happen, we think we are very well placed to take advantage.
So decision-making continues to be a little slow even today?
Absolutely.
And if you could give us a sense of what kind of order pipeline are you seeing in power as well as in your automation segment?
I think at this point in time, if you look at overall in the scenario in India, the utility, the transmission distribution sector is relatively a little better off than the traditional automation sector of steel and cement and things. Primarily because there is so much of underutilized capacities there. As that capacity, utilization increases, the, investment will begin.
For ABB, what is the current capacity utilization?
Well, it varies from plant to plant. We have a huge range of products, but we typically have, right now we have a lot of potential to deliver a lot more capacity. We are operating in many cases, or most cases actually, on single shift basis, so we could actually create multiple shifts. So we are not restricted or constrained by capacities. We have invested a lot in the last 2-3 years in building up our capacities, building up new factories, taking all the existing factories and expanding them. We see the growth coming. Timing, as I said, is uncertain. What I can say is that we are ready for it now, so we need it.
So you prepared yourself for this particular scenario. You started preparing yourself much earlier. Do you expect a flood of orders, a lot of foreign companies, a lot of interest coming back into the Indian, market out here once again? And how much do you think that your order book can actually go up to in the current financial year and in the next financial year?
Well, like I said in the beginning, if you look at the macro scenario, we have 1/3 of the global consumption in electricity. So it's a no-brainer that, yes, of course, there's going to be a big amount of...
Can you give me a number as to what's the order book that you're looking forward to for this year and for next year?
I'm not going to fall for that one. We don't give forward-looking...
but how much do you expect it to increase it by?
I'm not going to give, we don't give guidance as a matter of policy. So, but what I can say is that the potential for this market in India. If you go back a few years, there was a very rapid growth, and we see that the growth that is going to come potentially can be more rapid than it was in the 4 or 5 year ago period when it was boom times.
So are you